Thanks for tuning in to the Old Dirty Basement. On this week's episode, we're covering Bruce Johnston.
Yeah, he was involved with the Johnston Gang. Imagine that. They were out of Chester County, Pennsylvania, which is not far as a stone's throw also from where we're at.
Yeah, man, this is a local flavor and a local favorite for us. I mean, this was one of the most notorious gangs in the history of Pennsylvania.
And it says that.
Yep.
We knew nothing about it, so I think y'all might get a kick out of this one.
Yeah, I was definitely not aware of this, and Matt actually let us know it ties into a movie that we're going to review at the end of the week at Close Range. So we hope you guys enjoy this one. Don't forget to hit that 5-star rating, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you're at. On Apple, you can leave us a written review, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the Johnston Gang. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
From the Old Dirty Basement. Before we get into this Johnston Gang, we have a cool Old Dirty mailbag item. Actually, a guy I know, I was telling him about this one, and he's like, hey, I got a cool story about that. So I thought we'd give him a call real quick and put this in before the episode.
Yeah, that's why I love the mailbag.
RJ, what's up?
What's going on, man?
What's going on here with Matt and Zap? And I was telling him about...
Hello,
Hey,
RJ.
RJ, how's it going?
What's going on, guys?
Yep.
So, man, I was telling him about the story you told me the other day. We're about to get into the Johnston Gang. So you were telling me that the house you grew up in had a cool story behind it?
Yeah. So I moved out of what is like the hood where I'm from down the way when I was about 9 years old. And I moved out. To me, it was like the sticks. I moved out there. And my house had just recently been built. It was maybe built 2 years before. Like only one person lived there before I moved in. And there was like an acre and then another acre. And the other acre was swamp. And as a kid, we would just do things back there, mess around and, dirt bike, try to like put dirt in there and make a dirt bike track or a paintball field, just stuff like that. And then, like as kids do, like just started doing dumb shit. And we ended up like getting a metal detector out there and then ended up finding a bike, like a motorcycle frame. And then ended up finding like a tractor frame back there. And before the development was there, it was just like a dead end road. And the story has it is that's where they had a dumping ground there where they would just get their stuff off and
this
it wasn't in their possession.
This is the Johnston Gang we're talking about. So what was the town that you were living in then?
It's in West Salisbury.
Okay.
So, and I believe where all of like the Johnston Gang stuff was like Oxford area down that way, like more southern Chester County.
Yep.
But as far as like, I mean, they come up, I guess as far as even further, I really don't know like specific locations, but yeah, as the story goes, that was one of their dumping grounds, just because like I said, there was nothing there. It was all woods and just a dead end road.
Did you know anything about the Johnston Gang when you were a kid, or was it just like something that like through myth or like a urban legend type thing?
I mean, kind of, yeah. Like, there's another thing to kind of incorporate with them. It's a road that they used to do things on as well. We called it the California Hollows. So, like, that was like a thing where, like, that's how I originally first heard about them. And then my father was a cop for 14 years in Valley Township, which is a township right outside of West Salisbury. So he knew of the gang and all of that. And he was the one that actually told me that it's a good chance that behind our house was actually one of their dumping grounds.
That's a cool story.
That's amazing, man. I mean, that's amazing.
So that road you were talking about, there was something that came up near the end of the Johnston Gang. Now, we already pre-recorded that, but there was like some hauntings or something that I think Matt was referencing, and you had said something about that.
Yeah. So like, it was just like a place to like, park up and party. It was a place to party where no one had to worry about parents finding out and, doing stuff like that. And then like there was only like 4 houses back there on that road. Like it was a stone road and then it would like branch off onto like hill climbs and stuff. So if you had like a 4-wheel drive car that could handle it, you could like get into the woods with it. And there's like, you drive past the houses that like, there's no electric lines or anything. There's no, nothing out there, but like houses would have like electric on. And then like,
so like it's a cool place for teenagers around the neighborhood. You guys would go there, maybe like 4-wheel. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Drink
just,
some non-alcoholic beverages.
So you're saying
exactly.
You're saying there were lights on in these houses with no electric? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, and like we'd go up there and like try to like freak us out and sketch ourselves out. We'd like park up and get out and mess around and like, did you hear that? Like, what was that? Like,
Cool.
just you're already on edge because like there's nothing out there and it's just complete dark. So like it was just like a sketchy area, and then like the story behind it kind of just like made it that much crazier.
And what was that story? You said there was a.
It just like another dumping ground, and then like apparently like the one house was their family's house, and I think it was like they killed like 5 or 6 people or something like that, and apparently like one of those houses was where they like disposed of one of the bodies, or like that's the story that was told to me, and that's how we all took it.
So it's not factual per se, but as a kid, anything that's passed down like that is pretty much factual. It's like makes you scared.
It's a little right. I mean, I'm not sure. It was before my time, but just like from being from the area,
local legend, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. That's what we wanted. We, since you were telling me you kind of grew up in that area, I thought it'd be cool to get a little taste of, what you kind of heard when you were growing up down around there. It was definitely a cool story to cover. You guys got any other questions before we wrap it up? Good to go. All right, my man RJ, I appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, man, not a problem.
All right,
Talk to you guys later.
Thank you, RJ.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, see you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bud.
This is the Old Dirty Basement, home to debauchery, madness, murder, and mayhem. A terror-filled train ride deep into the depths of the devil's den.
With a little bit of humor,
History.
And copious consciousness.
I'm your announcer, Shallow Throat. Your hosts are Dave, Matt, and Zap. I love you, Matthew McConaughey. All right.
Hey, this is Dave,
Matt,
And Zap.
and welcome to the Old Dirty Basement.
where every week we cover a true crime.
Murder.
Or compelling story.
So sit back.
Relax.
And comprehend.
Hello. Welcome to the Old Dirty Basement. It's a beautiful Pennsylvania day. I'm here with Dave, Matt, myself, and it was because of hearing the introduction is like Dave, Matt, and I was like, oh yeah, I am here.
Wow.
Zap.
How's it going, Zap?
I'm good, man.
Good.
What's
That's
going on?
great.
Yeah, we have another guest, another Matt in the house.
No,
Yes.
it's just me. No, I was super excited because it's a Pennsylvania story.
It is, man, and the people love it. Like the PA one seemed to get a lot of good feedback. We got a lot of listeners here in Pennsylvania locally, so they really enjoy these.
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing this to our attention. Like, I had no idea that this guy existed. I had no idea that this guy was, or at least his story was so popular that they ended up making a movie out of it.
That's what we have a double banger.
Ooh, it's
Yeah,
two bangs.
Two bangs. It's the movie and the true crime.
yeah, and all this born out of you just happened to stumble upon a movie, right?
Yeah, it was on Netflix, and like the movies you like, how they pop up, 98% match that I like it, and I was like, oh, this is Walken and Sean Penn. I don't know how I missed this one.
Well, I remember the movie, like the name. I had never seen it up until last night. So
I too watched it. Actually, I watched it balls early this morning.
oh really?
Like
Yeah.
at
It was early 3 a.m.
Like at 3 a.m.
Oh wow.
Now that is awesome, man.
I crashed early and woke up and watched the movie.
Yeah. I know
that is dedication.
So it's
for the
fresh.
podcast.
that is dedication. I know the song, but I heard the song a million times, but the movie no. But to know that's like really based on a guy from Pennsylvania. On top of all that, was like really cool to find out.
It was really, really cool. I think it would actually like Chester County.
Yeah. So what's the guy's name?
The guy's name is Bruce Alfred Johnston Sr.
He's a criminal.
Yeah.
So Bruce Johnston Sr. Dude was born on March 27th, 1939. Just a quick little summary. He's a leader of one of the most notorious gangs in the history of Pennsylvania.
See, that's what blew my mind about this. Like this whole thing was sitting right there.
I never really think about gangs.
Movie.
In PA. I mean, I just never put the two together.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I would think at best of organized crime,
Yes.
but I definitely don't think of,
Bloods, Crips,
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania gangs.
Well, is there really a difference between like a mob and a gang? Like, what would be the difference? Is it just another term?
I think mobs are bigger than gangs.
Is that how it works?
yeah, I would imagine that the structure is is similar,
Mm-hmm.
but a gang is really set up to, I don't know, control a territory
Mm-hmm.
versus organized crime. I mean, there is organization to it.
They have levels.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense.
It's like the purpose is to, let's say, make money
Mm-hmm.
or to do this, that, and the other thing. Whereas a gang, they just want to, I don't know, control their territory or push other people out of their territory.
Mm-hmm.
And then in order to fund that, they will get into illicit activities.
Yeah, I guess his Johnston Gang, I figure, like, you think a gang would be a smaller, more like group of people that you know well. I think to be a gang,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
not like, yeah, as you were saying. I think it's a smaller group
Okay.
of trusted individuals,
Associates.
family mostly,
Yeah.
maybe.
Right.
What's the so I know Blood's Crips. What's the Mexican one? MI something? MI5? What
There's a number. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I know Trump mentioned them a lot.
did he?
I think so. What were they?
I'm confusing it with British intelligence.
They were
Oh, yeah.
bad,
Secret
bad
agents.
hombres.
Yeah.
They were bad hombres. So yeah, so this gang started in the 60s and ended up going for almost 20 years. Now the I don't know if the best or the worst part about this is that this guy Bruce Johnston, he ended up getting dimed out by his own kid.
Yeah. That as you
I
saw.
mean, that's a hell of a way to go. It's
Mhm.
absolutely a hell of a way to go. But
Not really.
I-
From the way that the story goes.
He had it coming, I guess.
Well, not that.
no,
It's just
no.
as you read
as you find out,
what he
Mhm.
did
Oh yeah.
to bring that upon himself.
that's what. That's absolutely right. It's still shitty to hear from the beginning,
Right.
like without knowing why or how.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, this guy got dimed out by his own kid.
Like what would cause that?
Mm.
You're wondering.
Oh,
but-
we'll find out.
yeah, we jump to that, as you would say sometimes.
We jump.
We just,
you gotta have that, the
Yeah,
warm up.
we like
get
that.
to
We
it.
like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, these guys, they were mostly around Chester County, and
Yep.
they committed crimes Lancaster County, up down Maryland, Delaware area, and they engaged in theft, stealing items, and ranged from antiques to drugs.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see. So in each of these break-ins or thefts, this wasn't just this guy and like his a couple of friends of his. There was a good number of people in this gang, maybe like a dozen or so.
Mhm.
So they all brought their own little skills to the table.
Yeah,
So you're going to have lock pickers, safe crackers, explosive experts, the getaway guy that whomever can drive the car appropriately or can drive anything.
Right.
Like I'm all of a sudden thinking of like Gone in 60 Seconds,
Mm-hmm.
the remake one with
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage.
Cage. Dude, I love that goddamn movie, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Like, I can't stop watching that. It's just so good. I watch it every time it's on.
Gone in 60.
Yeah,
It's about you had to steal so many cars in a certain
50
amount of time.
cars.
What was the name
Yeah.
of that car? They called it.
Was it the
Had-
Mustang?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Mustang, but he had a name for it. I forget now. I only saw it the
I
one
wanted
time.
to say it's,
Oh, Betsy.
it's not Ursula. It begins with an Eleanor.
Eleanor. That's
Eleanor,
what
there
it
you
was.
go.
That Ford. Yep.
But as Zach was saying, these guys were very organized, a very good organized crime unit, because they had they would go old school, like listen to police scanners.
Yep.
They would communicate with walkie talkies, things like that. So they knew what the hell they were doing. It wasn't like they weren't trained to do what they had to do.
And you think about the areas they're in, like if they're committing crimes in these rural areas, there's not like a lot going on. So I mean, but there again, I guess there's not a lot of law enforcement either. Maybe.
No, I think of like Dukes of Hazzard.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when I was going through this and reading about this guy, I think of just like a Dukes of Hazzard kind of scene where you'll just drive for miles upon miles, and all you're doing is seeing farms.
Right.
All you're seeing.
And that's what Zap was saying too. They would like the Dukes of Hazzard. They would call in like phony reports saying, "Hey, I think there's a robbery going on over here at whatever address." So they'd call cops would come to that address, and they'd be
Long gone.
a county away.
Right.
And again, don't as we're all talking about this, don't forget that these are very rural areas, so you're only going to have a couple of cops.
Right.
So if you said, "Oh my God, this house is burning down," or "Hey, I think that this something looks bad over here," or whatever, you're just paying distraction here.
Sending the resources over
All the
here.
resources are going to the one spot, while in the meantime they're doing their thing.
Right.
So in this gang, which I had mentioned, there was approximately a dozen. Looks like there's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, there's a little over a dozen. Bruce Johnston Sr. was the leader.
Yep.
David Johnston, Norman Johnston, who I think were one was a brother, one was a cousin.
Yes.
Okay, is that? Yeah, I was trying to think. A couple other guys. You had some guys that were, different skilled people.
Mm-hmm.
Francis Matherly, was that a guy or a girl?
Francis, it's with an I. I'm going to say that's a
A
dude.
dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, they didn't really trust women.
If
in
it's
this game.
Francis with an E, I would say that's a girl.
Okay. And there was also the member Ansley Ham that we'll get into a little bit later. Or we could talk about that guy now. I don't know where we're at.
Oh, Ansel Ham.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
That goes in later.
we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, I mean, you had there's a bunch of dudes in here. A couple that are, or a handful that'll pop out later as well. Leslie Dale, Richard Mitchell, Dick Mitchell, James Griffin, and Roy Myers. They will all play a part later in the tale.
You think about it, that's a lot of people to keep their mouths shut. You know what I mean? If you have that many people involved, like we talk about all the time with these crimes and stuff, but it seems like they were doing all right for a while there, at least that we know of.
Maybe that's another difference between a gang and organized crime. Like an organized crime, let's just say from like the Italian side. I mean, you're talking blood oath, family stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Like you're gonna die before you rat anybody out, or you're gonna go to prison before you rat anybody out. This, I mean, these guys, a gang is just a bunch of miscreants getting together. Like, hey, let's go steal shit, or let's go cause some kind of ruckus.
Right.
I got no allegiance to these people. I don't give a shit about them.
Right. That's what makes me think. That early on here they didn't turn on each other, but I guess they're not really getting caught, or they're not getting challenged early on because of where they're at.
Right.
And the crimes are kind of flying under the radar.
It's usually you see the brothers and stuff. That's usually like the as thick as thieves type mentality. And then once you start branching out, like you're saying, once you start getting like the cousins, and then like the second cousin, then your sister's best friend's cousin's uncle's former roommate.
Yep.
And then it starts getting a little weird.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who to trust.
I think I did read that the Johnston brothers, like
That was a Spaceballs reference, by the way.
Is that was that? I didn't even
Yeah.
catch that. The Johnston brothers, their parents, they weren't native to Pennsylvania. They moved here from like Tennessee or something like that. It was like
Okay.
another state. So the mother and father had moved here, and settled in PA there at one point. So they weren't like, this is the first generation, I guess, in Pennsylvania. But
Welcome to Pennsylvania.
yeah,
You've got a friend in Pennsylvania.
Why did they take that away?
I don't know.
off the license plates and stuff.
Yeah, that was a good one. Even when you come in, like, I don't even know what it says anymore. It's a weird welcome to Pennsylvania, and it has some weird slogan.
On the license plates,
No. Like, they were on the license plate. Like, you got a friend in Pennsylvania.
they stopped Virginia's for lovers.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what the new Pennsylvania one is. I think Pennsylvania was the first one I ever saw that had a website,
Really?
Oh,
a
for
plate
real?
with a website.
We're ahead of our time.
Yeah.
They got rid of "You've got a friend in Pennsylvania," replaced it with a goddamn website.
Yeah.
That's not cool. Way to go, Pennsylvania.
Dumb. So, do we want to get into their the crime spree of the crime gang,
Yeah,
Yeah.
of the Johnston Gang?
Let's see what they're doing.
Well, it looks like now they for sure were doing some petty stuff here and there, but
Yeah, little robberies,
Little things here and
little
there.
things.
But I guess when they really started hitting the radar was in August of 1971 at the Dutch Wonderland Castle.
Bastards.
Now, how do you commit a crime at a damn theme park? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so much in the land for a fun day planned at Dutch
That's
Wonderland.
Yeah.
So this one, nice. You got to be from PA to know that one.
Yes, you
Right.
do.
So this one was by the leader, by Bruce and his two cousins, let's say.
Yeah, David and Norman.
Yeah. So yep. They made off with $33,000 worth of property in cash.
Wow.
I don't even think Dutch Wonderland's worth $33,000.
Especially in 1971. Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been like 3 rides and like a little bit of water that splashed on
I
something.
mean, how much money would it cost to get into Dutch Wonderland back then?
Oh, it was probably pretty cheap. I mean, because they weren't.
You're talking 50 years ago.
1971
because
Dutch Wonderland.
I'm pretty sure Hershey owns them now, and the price went up obviously once Hershey got involved. But I think at that time, I mean, I'm sure it was like a cheap day. I mean,
But you're
let's
figuring,
say
Yeah, like a
$7 maybe to
Knoebels
get in.
day.
Yeah.
It would have been a Knoebels day.
but
Right.
they probably broke in during the end of the summer. I don't know. When does it say? Dutch Wonderland.
Well, I
It
loved
was August.
It was
Yeah.
I mean, this is the
Okay.
hot season.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going, August. They probably had a good year.
Right.
And these guys know how to like crack safes. It probably wasn't hard to break into Dutch Wonderland in 1971.
Yeah, that's a lot
Basically,
that's a lot of shoe fly pie.
I'm just
33
imagining it, like
grand.
the safes are made out of plywood or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah,
These guys
true.
just walked through the dam. They lowered the drawbridge at the castle. It's like,
Yeah.
come on in. Like, yeah, we're
Went
just here for a
across the
minute.
moat.
Yeah, they went across the moat, did some business.
That's good. I mean, that is true though. Looking at that amount of money, but maybe it's built up over a few weeks. I don't know. But it might not all.
That
be
could be a really
cash.
good week at Dutch Wonderland back
Yeah.
then. I
So
mean,
when I
freaking there's
see-
snacks and
When I see 33 grand worth of property and cash, I gotta believe that's. I'm thinking like the amusement stuff, like not stuff like stuffed animals, but like think of your high end claw machines now.
Mhm.
Like if you look at like merchandising
Okay,
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
where, I mean, hell, we've talked before about let's say the High Spire Carnival. I mean, even there, if you had the right gumption and the right abilities, you could win, let's say, a relatively expensive knife, right? Or some shit like that. Maybe they just walked away or just robbed. Like, look, just forget the stuffed animals, but take the watches or take this, that, and the other thing. I don't know.
like a bumper car.
Yeah.
Or a horse from the
bumper
carousel.
car. Hey, man.
What are you doing, man? I got a horse. Let's go.
This car doesn't work once I get off the ride, it doesn't go anywhere.
I don't know. If I was in that kind of situation, I'd be like a kid in a candy store type thing.
Sure.
Like, man, can I get this bumper car out of here? Like, how
Yeah.
would I do that? I don't know.
Still a whole coaster or something. Take it home, set it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Start taking pieces apart. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man, we got to go.
Little by little. Next reported is in now, Matt, you had mentioned this briefly earlier when you mentioned Ansel
Ham. Yes.
Ham. In
That's
nine-
Hamm.
yeah, that's with two M's, like John Ham.
Mm-hmm.
1972, old Ansel was found to have murdered 2 Kennett Square patrolmen. Kennett Square is damn near place we were talking about earlier, Longwood Gardens.
Okay. Is that like a Philly suburb or?
Ish, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. From here to there, it's on the way to Philly.
I got you. Probably down.
It's actually, pretty nice area.
It's also the mushroom capital of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Kennett Square. I did hear that.
Yeah. So if you
And-
like mushrooms, go to Kennett Square. But if you're a patrolman, don't get shot.
Well, they said this whole thing was kind of just these 2 policemen were really getting in. They knew the gang members. Like,
They were pulling them over and like. doing
yes,
stuff
they were
to mess with
harassing them. They
Yeah.
were really just messing with these guys.
Oh,
Just
you
like,
swerved. I'm gonna pull you over.
yeah,
Like that.
and it was kind of like how those gangster type movies where they just have people follow you around. So I think
Harassing them and
they were kind of getting the shits of it.
Oh,
And
they just shot their tails. Like, come on, man, you guys got to stop following us.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I guess they
Boom,
said
boom.
Ansel E. Ham was waiting in the bushes about, what was it, like they said 30, 60 yards away somewhere.
Mhm.
It was about 2 a.m. They waited for these 2 patrol officers to get out. They spotted them. They said one of, I'm not sure who there was another one involved that made some sort of distraction.
Mhm.
And Ham went and shot 2 or 3 shots.
And wasn't one of the officers actually? There were 2 officers that they were targeting, but one of them was off or had switched
Off duty or something like
they
that.
had switched. Like they're basically they were planning on being the one guy.
It
But
was
he
the older
off.
guy, and it was some
Yeah.
younger gentleman.
So I don't even know if the one guy that they ended up killing was involved in the harassment or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. He was just covering for the guy. I guess maybe he caught off.
Yeah, and then
Or was off or whatever.
They were working like a graveyard shift or something. It was like 2 in the morning.
On the night shift.
Yeah, right.
There was no
Marvin.
sweet sound coming down.
So these guys are, they're just kind of square police or patrolmen at the time. Okay. So that's what I was saying about like them operating and getting away with stuff. I think like townspeople, everybody was aware of these guys, but they were just kind of scared of them.
Yeah, you don't
know,
want to.
they-
I mean, and they knew that they killed these cops. Basically, because you know how word spread in small towns, and like I think Dave's correct. Like you were probably just scared to even mention their names or something like that.
Right.
Like Voldemort, but they're
Just like Voldemort.
Pretty much.
a gang.
Gang Voldemort.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They should have changed it.
Next on the list, at least the list I have, and by all means interject if you have another one. I don't want to, for sure they didn't stay silent, and they sure didn't stay, just immobile.
Well, you think they're thinking they're the shit now? They just killed 2 cops, man.
Yeah.
And got away with it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much for now. It's like, yeah, and
Well,
you know who did it.
It wasn't until 3 years later that their next reported one was discovered, which happened at the Media Heights Country Club in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This is an interesting one. This is right out of something you would see in casino,
Mm-hmm.
right out of casino. So they go to the side of the clubhouse. They drill holes in the side of the shop and they disarm the alarm system from the outside. Then they use dynamite to gain access to the safe. And in the safe, they ended up taking $15,000 worth of money and golf equipment. $15,000.
That's crazy.
Yo, man, grab that driver.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because
Again,
back then,
75.
yeah, I could see now because
That's
drivers are
almost
like,
50 years ago, man.
yeah, because now drivers are like $500-600.
Yeah, golf clubs like $3 a piece.
You
or
can
something.
drop $2,000, $3,000 on a set of clubs.
Yeah.
But back then, that the majority of this is probably, I would say, cash, unless they stole like golf carts and stuff. Back then, you know, that could have been,
because the bumper cars, they couldn't
yeah,
Couldn't get them to run.
they
so that
couldn't
was
get the
close.
bumper cars to run. They had to get golf carts.
right.
But see, I mean, if it wasn't for the freaking the cop murder there, like this stuff here is like respectable crime, I believe, for 1975.
Right. Like,
No, I mean,
seems
look-
like drunk stuff you'd do.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking like they're looking at these like snobby people in a country club.
Mhm.
So they're like, F these dudes. Like, these guys are asses anyway.
I'm just gonna take.
So
that,
yeah, I mean, but to be
like a Robin Hood.
yeah, like robbing from the rich. But to be able to like drill holes in a wall,
Mm-hmm.
blow up the safe with dynamite. Like, who carries dynamite? Where did you get it from? I guess back then it wasn't that hard.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I
Like
mean-
he said, these guys all had specialties. I guess somebody had that specialty that they had. A guy that knew how to disarm alarms. A guy that knew explosives. A guy that.
But
knew,
yeah, you figure you wait for the guys to.
It's like the A-team.
Mhm.
Just think of the A-team. Every one of those guys knows how to do something special.
Right.
And from the movie At Close Range, I think they were pretty much like that. With they had lookouts. They had hey, they're leaving the country club now, and they're probably like 100 yards off, like on the golf course, just watching these guys.
right.
Then they might have had equipment parked somewhere, and they back it up and do their thing. But I think that's a cool crime. I like that cat burglar shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's cool in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about in real life. But
It's not cool when you get caught.
yeah.
No.
I got one in 1976.
Oh, that was the best year ever.
Yeah, true. That's a great year for all of us.
Mhm.
Bicentennial.
Bicentennial, the year of our birth.
Mm-hmm.
There was a significant tractor theft, so a number of tractors.
Mhm.
But interestingly enough, the Bruce and his two cousins, David and Norman, and their one associate, Roy Myers, ended up being acquitted of the charges.
Oh, okay.
So they're going up, et cetera, et cetera. All right, do we have witnesses? Do we have anything, this, that, and the other thing? There ended up being friends of theirs, call them friends of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
This woman by the name of Janet Gazzaro and her husband Frank, who ended up bribing one of the jurors in the court while this whole thing was going on. So again, like their friends,
Connections.
they're friends of the gang, or the gang reaches out to them and say, "Look, man, we're in lockup. Do us a favor."
Is it really friends or just people
Pay
that
off
may have threatened?
Could be.
Yeah.
I'm looking at those facts too, and it's funny that they name her Janet. Like she wears the pants in the family. Like she must have been the one that was doing, was doing most of the bribing and all that, because it's like Janet Gazzaro
instead
and
of saying Frank
her husband
and
Frank.
his wife Janet.
Almost like he was like along for the ride.
Well, Frank didn't. So further, in addition to trying to bribe one of the jurors, Janet also testified. Her husband did not.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
So Janet, but then again, Janet testified that, yeah, man, well, these tractors were mine. Like I bought these, or he gave me these tractors.
She was covering for him.
Yeah. And I ended up giving by the way, I got 3 of these tractors, and I gave one of these tractors to this other juror. That's the bribing part. So anyway, they couldn't get a jury to come together and do everything that they needed to do to convict these guys. So they were acquitted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said something too, that there was like a phone call to the one Hauk or whatever the guy was. He was an auto body worker, and it told him, it's like, because he traced something back to one of the people, and they said, the caller urged him very convincingly to not identify anyone at the hearing. So these guys were making like calls on the low, not even like a threat. I guess they just said convincing. So whatever he said.
I'm not well. So what he ended up, I'm seeing that too. And not only here's how he convinced him. He's
Yes,
like, look,
he wasn't
man,
fooling.
yeah, if you testify, or if you pick these guys out of a lineup or whatever, I'm going to blow you up. Like, I'm going to put dynamite under your car.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? Just to show you that I'm not messing with you, go take a look at your car tomorrow. Go look under your car tomorrow morning. Sure enough, he found dynamite under there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there was 5 sticks of dynamite waiting for him. So that's when you don't mess with people like that. And you know how when something happens, word spreads.
Right. This word gets around. Like,
Yeah. Like, dude, they had 5 sticks of dynamite under my car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't say shit, but.
Well, I mean, we live in central Pennsylvania, so I mean, we know I mean, there's crime around this area, but not like in some like bigger cities and stuff like that. And think about this area is even more rural than where we're at. And I'm sure down there, like if these guys were heavily involved in crime, everybody knew about them. You know, I'm sure. Like the name, even in the movie, they referenced the girlfriend, the young girl, the Mary Stuart Masterson, already was aware of the father. She's like, oh,
everybody in the neighborhood knew who he was.
I know your dad's name, or basically already knew the whole backstory or legend of,
or that they were all involved in some sort of organized crime,
or gang.
Or gang.
Yeah. Yes, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear this jury tampering stuff like this, or threatening a witness stuff. That actually happened to my parents.
Oh.
Way back when.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so this was when they lived in Chicago before I came around. They both worked at Smith Corona typewriters.
Yeah.
So my mom was some kind of administrative something, bookkeeping something, whatever. And my dad was whatever in the factory, whatever. And she would be up in the office, look a couple floors up, all the guys moving around are down on the ground floor. And she looked out and she would see every day, like right at the same time, these 2 guys would be carrying boxes or wheeling out these typewriters away from the trucks, like to the parking lot.
Instead of loading them in the truck.
Like all of the time. So then she raised it up to her supervisor, whatever. And the supervisor's like, no, just let that go. It's whatever. It's damaged goods. Forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So then she keeps seeing it over and over and over. And then she ended up, because she was in some kind of bookkeeper capacity, she's seeing invoices for things that are purchased and, their inventory control and shit like that. And she sees that these things keep going missing. Like every month she sees the inventory count is off from what it should be.
Was this Watergate?
No, dude,
No.
I was close.
I was confused.
This was Smith Corona Gate.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she ended up raising it to a different person, like the equivalent of HR or something like that, who wasn't in the whole loop.
Oh, you don't get them involved.
So, she said something to her supervisor, and he said, forget it. You're seeing things. So then she either said it to him again, and he blew her off, or then she went to somebody else. And that somebody else had more people look into it. And then the next thing you know, these 2 guys, the 2 people, my parents ended up getting like threatening phone calls, like all kinds of shit. Like they were trailed.
Wow.
Like, yeah, dude, all kinds of stuff. It was like, look, you got to shut up. You got to drop this. You got to do this, that, and the other thing. So this is way back when there's no such thing as like whistleblower protection or any kind of shit like that. Mm-hmm. So both of my parents were like, look, man, we're afraid to work here. Like, this is really scary here. You're not, whoever is taking these typewriters is now threatening us.
Man, you can't mess with the typewriters.
Yeah.
So they ended
Is that
up,
how you got the PA? Was it like a witness protection thing?
no. Although that would be awesome.
That would
You
be
would
cool.
never know because maybe they were not allowed to tell you.
Who knew typewriters so gangster?
I
You know what I
know,
mean?
man.
That whole industry.
No, so they did end up
Papa Zap put a cap in that ass.
they ended up finding out who the bad guys were, and they fired the bad guys. And my parents were never, harmed by it, but they did end up giving my parents basically settled out of court, where it was like, okay, look, we're in a hostile work environment here. We could sue the shit out of you, but my parents never thought that way. This is before the Lionel Hutz ambulance chasing.
Nobody sued.
Yeah, that didn't happen. So I guess that's a courtesy, but not just a courtesy, though, just basically hush money. Smith Corona ended up paying them whatever. Some paltry sum, like maybe a couple grand at best. Like, hey, sorry you had to go through this. Here's some money. Good luck.
And
Best of luck, and don't get shot.
And they moved on to another job then.
They ended up moving on to another job.
Wow.
Just because, so at this point, it's like super uncomfortable. Like, shit, these guys got fired. Now they know where we work.
Right.
Crap. We got to make a life change here.
Oh, you would feel like you're looking over your shoulder every
all
day,
the time.
you know,
Yeah.
when you
So
go to
I
work.
forget where they ended up moving, but that was not the impetus for them to come to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and luckily they didn't go to Kennett Square.
Right.
You know what I mean? He could have been back in in the same boat.
Yeah, they
with
could have
these
been
guys.
the innocents on the grassy knoll.
See, even the stuff in the 70s like this, to be able to go to somebody's parked car and just, set some dynamite under there, have the time to do that, not worry about, like you go through some neighborhoods today, like our neighborhood. I mean, everybody in their
Has a ring
has a
doorbell.
ring doorbell.
Right.
So you'd be looking at, and there's like stupid shit that people are calling like extra neighbors, or if you're on that website or you're saying, oh, there's a
Next door, the app.
the app. Yeah, you're like, oh, there's 3 kids and with backpacks that we don't recognize.
Right.
Does anybody know who they are?
Yeah.
Or there's a groundhog running wildly out in the front yard of Jim's house. Does anybody know if it's rabid?
It's got the
Yeah.
bad rabies.
Yeah, it's like some dumb shit.
Like these guys in today's day and age would not be able to do half the shit. Probably 80% of the shit that they pulled off back in the day, just because of the way stuff's tracked now, and they just wouldn't be able to get away with it. I would think so. I'm sure this stuff goes on, but
Even with their tractor thefts, I think now they all have stuff under, like people can track
'em.
because people do steal tractors still. It's like a thing, but yeah, they can't anymore because they're tracked.
Well, I mean, again, you're in rural.
rural, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Nobody.
True.
Nobody's
Nobody out
around.
there.
Right.
Cows and tractors
And tractors.
and Amish,
Yep.
And the Amish.
tobacco. Go ahead, corn.
Ooh, speaking of tobacco,
Yeah,
their next crime was in April of 1977.
like what I did there.
I like what you did there.
Yeah, thank
We
you,
call
thank
that a segue.
Yes.
And that's not the thing on the 2 wheels with the handle
The segue.
that you lean. April 1977. I always say, look, let's call it the 3 majors. So it's going to be Bruce Johnston and his 2 cousins. So these 3 transported almost $22,000 in stolen cigarettes.
So today that'd be like 2 packs.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
basically.
Enjoy.
I can speak from experience. Like, cigarettes aren't cheap, man. They're more than $10 a pack now.
So back then though, that's 21,000. Let's just try to like gauge. What do you think a pack of cigarettes were back in
$1.
77?
Easily
in
$1.
77, I would say $1.
Dollar packs are probably like at least 20,000 packs of cigarettes. Yeah. And how many's in a carton?
10 packs in a carton.
10. Yeah, because these are probably by the carton.
I figure like 1990, 1991, you could get cigarettes out of a machine for what, $2.50?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, I can remember this, and I'm
$2, I think, for some.
I'm
We're going to
making-
get nostalgic for a
well,
minute.
it's not even
Oh,
nostalgic. It's just it's going to make me sound like even more of an asshole than I already am. I remember when cigarettes were less than $2.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember swearing up and down. Look, man, and I was in college at the time, so man, when cigarettes get to be more than $2 a pack, I'm quitting.
I'm done with
I'm
it,
quitting. Yep. Not so much. So
Yeah.
here we are, what, 30 years later?
No, so what were they?
20 some years later, and I'm still paying $10 a pack.
Yeah, listen, people, there was in America where you could go to the mall. There'd be a whole section where you could just pull this knob and
Oh,
put
yeah.
in whatever amount.
Well, your boy Quarters, right? He
Quarters. They're still out there.
Yeah.
Those things are still there. There's a cigarette machine at the Sons and Daughters of Italy.
Is it $2?
Oh, there's still a machine?
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh, wow.
You pull the lever.
Hell yeah,
Do
you
get a
pull
pack
the
of
lever.
You get a pack
Yeah.
of matches with them.
Yeah.
Oh, that slides out.
We got to get Quarters. We have to talk. Maybe if we start making some money, we'll get Quarters and we can get one down here in the basement just for
Look,
aesthetics.
you can go to Coin Op Warehouse. You can go to Coin Op Amusements. You can go. There are a ton of places.
You can
Tons of
still get
places.
them. Okay.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh, you should get the coffee one that comes down with your little card playing, the Ace of Spades one.
Yeah.
They're
Get the
out
coffee
there.
cup.
If
Yeah.
you've ever experienced it, I promise you, it's out there.
It is the worst cup of coffee, but I enjoyed playing poker.
It was cool.
I had always wanted that. If I was someday when I finish a basement in a house that I want,
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted a cigarette machine down there.
Yeah.
That I mean, it would just be like a piggy bank, a rotating piggy bank. Like
It's like a jukebox.
yeah, but
Like
you can
people put those in.
of course.
Oh,
I mean, you
jukebox
could,
would be
you could of
cool.
course set the price. I mean, hell, I could set it to $0.25 if I want
Right.
to. But whatever.
Just-
Someday. So yes, almost 22 grand in stolen cigarettes. Let's see, May of that year, a month later.
Oh, you didn't say that they pleaded guilty to that. They were caught getting that across the state lines.
I have them getting caught someplace else, but okay.
Oh, okay.
No. No, is it?
Oh, it's
I
when they
see
were.
it.
Yeah.
I got it. They crossed the state lines. That's how they got caught.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I wonder what they get for that. Like, what kind of, just a fine maybe? Or?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They probably took the heat for that. Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, we did something. We're busted.
Right.
So the next month in May, the three mains, This is, again, Johnston Sr. and his two cousins. They ended up stealing 28 grand from Longwood Gardens in Chester County.
Shit, Zap. I'm sorry. This is stuff when they were all found guilty of crimes, I think in 1981, that they pleaded guilty to these.
It
wasn't at the time.
ones.
At the time, they were getting away with the crimes.
So they were alleged.
Yes.
At the time.
And then they confirmed.
Then they can,
Gotcha.
because probably the lower sentence or whatever they had to do.
So
when
at
we
the
get to
time,
that
these
point.
crimes are all unsolved.
Yes,
basically.
So they got away with the almost 22,000 in cigarettes, and we're going back to with the Longwood Gardens.
Yeah,
Right,
so in Longwood Gardens. So again, we were talking about this for a little bit. Don't sleep if you've never been. Don't sleep on Longwood Gardens. Like
I've never been
that
there.
is 100% worth going to.
They say in the summertime, beautiful
Go in the summertime. Hell, go in
fall.
for Halloween.
Oh,
That's cool. For Christmas, it's all decked out. Like, it's cool, man. Like,
so anyway,
Longwood
year
Gardens is
round,
cool.
year round.
Shit,
Steph
yeah.
says the Longwood Gardens,
Yeah, I wasn't aware of this place. I didn't know much about it.
kind of like this true crime.
Pretty much, I didn't know anything about this either. But there was a show I was listening to. They were talking about this Longwood Gardens, and to put it in perspective, they said recently they had a remodel on the fountains there that was like $19 million in the remodel of just the fountains. So that puts it into perspective for me. If that's just what the money they're putting into these fountains there, this thing must be like mind blowing to see in person. Like,
Probably
it's
very
beautiful.
old also.
If you go to the fountains area
Mhm.
of the call it the main fountain, which has its own pump house and all this, like, house, not pump, but pump house.
Right.
And I don't think I'm I don't think I'm exaggerating on this. The fountain area is the size of a football field.
Oh, wow.
It's unreal huge, like huge, absolutely huge, tremendous. It's big, man. It's real big.
That's crazy. Didn't Evil Knievel jump that?
He might have. I don't
Yeah,
know.
in a
Were those the fountains?
bumper car.
In a bumper car. Yeah.
Just want to make sure. I knew him or his son. One of them jumped not the Longwood Gardens. It was Caesar's Palace. So,
Okay. Over that
Confusion.
fountain.
Yeah.
Or the one at the Bellagio.
yeah. I was going to try to jump the one at Longwood Gardens, but they wouldn't allow
And
it
they won't allow it.
on a Huffy.
And Stu Thompson.
Stu Thompson, yeah.
Kuahara.
Ooh.
hmm We still got to do Rad.
Yes. Oh, God, yeah. We definitely got to do that.
I saw the ending of that just like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, for
it was on, I don't know what channel.
What was it, Crew?
IFC or something. It was something weird.
Crew Jones. Was that the guy? the
Crew.
back- Yeah.
They had a good, what was the song they did on that? That was on the,
Where they were
Send
dancing.
me an angel.
Yeah, they were bike dancing with the bikes.
Yeah, that was on at Home Depot the other day. Shout out to Home Depot. I don't know what playlist they had.
And Rad, you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who made that song.
Right now, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
I didn't know I had such range.
I'm going to get on that.
Yeah.
Who was the actress in that too? Because she turned out to be pretty big. Was she the one that was in Family? The one with the dad whose wife died, and then Uncle Joey and
Real life.
Real Life.
That's the name of the band.
Yeah.
Real Life.
What was the name of the girl's name that was in that movie?
Oh, God. Okay. We're going down fingerbox hole.
No. Hold on, real quick. This is
Tap your own glass.
this is for the.
Well, Lori Loughlin was in
That's it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
She's a criminal. That's a true crime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bart Connor. Crew Jones. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'd be for another time. We'll edit that out.
Yeah. Sorry about that. You got to edit that out. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So earlier I had mentioned 4 specific gang members that we might want to pay attention to later. They were Leslie Dale, Richard Mitchell, James Griffin, and Ron Myers. So those 4, in addition to 1 or 2 more, were actually a part of a younger version of this gang. Call it the junior version of this gang.
Mm-hmm.
So the
I think
father,
some people call them the Kitty Gang.
there you go, the Kitty Gang. So you had Bruce Johnston Sr., who had a son of the same name.
Mm-hmm.
His son, Bruce Johnston Jr., followed in his dad's footsteps, started up his own gang. Okay, great. So at some point, these gangs, one gang is working over here, one gang's doing its thing over here. I got to believe that in the community of Chester County or Lancaster County, in at least the rural sections, you're going to start crossing paths.
Right.
You're going to start dealing with the same guy that's fencing your tractors. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're stealing tractors you need a tractor wholesalesman or middleman or something, it's probably a limited market of people you could go to.
Right.
Same thing with whatever. Like, again, you're trying to fence stolen goods, only a handful of people are going to be doing that. So these guys end up crossing paths. They ended up not necessarily joining forces, but they did work together from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I think Bruce actually put his son he wanted him to try to organize, because he's like, what are you doing with your life? And he was asking him, come work with dad.
Mm-hmm.
But then he tried to give him a chance, and he was kind of like, he didn't trust his son very much, I don't think, right?
Well,
that's kind of like the feel.
What I kind of gathered from, now I don't know how much of the movie was actually true to life, but what I gathered was that young Bruce and they were like infatuated with this lifestyle of sleeping in all day and like driving Corvettes and like fancy cars and all that, and like he dropped out of high school and all that.
Yeah, Bruce he wasn't as smart as Jimmy, or
right.
They were trying to say he was a little slow,
mm-hmm.
and just pretty much did whatever Jimmy told him to do.
But the dad wasn't really in his life at all
mm-hmm.
up until, he was older, and then the son kind of came to him looking like, I want to make money, like how do I?
Right. So the kid, Bruce Jr.,
mm-hmm.
said to Bruce Sr., hey, I've been estranged from you for a very long time. I see you now showing up. My biological didn't bother,
right.
but now you're here.
Mm-hmm.
I see you're driving flashy cars.
Yeah, let's be friends.
Flashing hundos.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing and how can I do that?
Yeah, I'm 18, 17, 18,
Right.
whatever. Like, how do I get on that level?
He was only 17.
Right. Like the song.
Yeah, Daddy said he was too young, but he was old enough to work.
I was listening to our recent podcasts. I listen to all of them. We've mentioned Winger, I think 3 or 4 times in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, Kip Winger.
You just can't look, Winger. It's 6 degrees of Winger.
Who was the kid on Beavis and Butthead that wore the Winger shirt? Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart.
Oh God,
that was a good one.
Because it was Metallica, AC/DC, and then he would come around with this Winger shirt.
Winger shirt.
Awesome. I would have been the one wearing the John Denver T-shirt just for fun. Just for fun.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
So Bruce Johnston Sr., as these kids are coming into his gang or working more with his gang, or at least getting more exposed to seeing him with this gang and the shit that they do, coupled with FBI investigating, or again, they killed cops for Christ's sake. They're going to be sought after. I should say they're going to be investigated. This guy, Bruce Johnston, the person whom we're speaking of, starts getting a little paranoid. And by a little paranoid, I mean real paranoid.
Real paranoid, yeah.
So as Dave had flash forwarded, or what was it? Foreshadowed, as you had foreshadowed earlier. In fact, things start going awry amongst the gang. Indeed, the level of trust is completely gone
from the kitty gang.
The level of trust on the part of the father is completely gone. He's very, 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 very worried that these youngsters, these damn whippersnappers, are going to start diming him out, because again, like they're
Did we talk about
these kids are getting arrested. These kids aren't doing it right. They're not keeping their heads low. They're getting thrown in jail.
There was a big crime that they tried to commit where they got busted and they were all found guilty of stealing the farm equipment in Ephrata.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they were selling them to an associate, and they were all sentenced to 4 to 9 years for the thefts. And then Bruce Sr. appealed, but the police were already on the trail of the other brothers for murdering the young members of the operation to cover up the burglaries. So this is where he began his whole paranoia and, oh shit, they're going to dime us out.
Yep. Exactly.
He didn't want that. He didn't want that to happen.
He didn't want that to happen.
No.
So basically he goes through the kitty gang and one by one murders them.
Just a campaign to eliminate kitty gang.
He killed, as Matt had mentioned, Jimmy Johnston, who was 18 at the time, on August 16th, 1978. Same day he killed Dwayne Lincoln. Same day he killed Wayne Sampson. 5 days later, he killed James Sampson, who was the oldest of this gang. So the first guy was 18, next one was 17, next one was 20. James was 24.
Yeah, still a kid.
Then the worst of it,
yes.
the worst of it is when he tries to have his own son and his girlfriend.
Yes.
His own son and his son's girlfriend killed.
The 3 that got killed on the same day, they were all taken out to the same spot.
A mass grave,
and,
yes.
And there was 3, like Bruce and then 2 other associates, and they each killed one. That way, everybody there
Yeah, you couldn't
was
dime
responsible
one.
for
Yeah,
a death, so they wouldn't be able to dime each other
see,
out.
that's some gangster shit right there.
Yeah.
Smart.
But the Robin Miller and the Bruce Johnston thing, they were actually at Hershey Park
Yes.
for a day.
Junior.
Yes,
Junior, yeah.
And they were coming back from Hershey Park, and I think they showed up a little late in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It was towards nightfall, and the two members from the gang, I guess, bum rushed them and shot a bunch of times into the car, killing her immediately. I think they shot her right in the face. Or no, she crawled into the house.
Yeah, in the movie, they had him in a... Was that a Chevelle?
That was whatever it was a shitty scene, and I'm happy to talk about that further.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm happy to weigh in my opinion on that scene when we get there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Matt's right that they didn't die in the car.
No, the daughter made it back into the house, and actually Bruce Johnston Jr. Took like 3 shots to the head, one to the arm, one to the wrist, and another one like on the side of his back, and he was like functioning.
Right.
That's wild.
What I was gonna say, in the movie, they had him in like a big, like, I don't know if it was, but in real life, it was supposed to be like
A
beat up
Volkswagen Rabbit.
a rabbit that they were in. So you're saying in real life,
Real life,
they didn't die in the car.
no, they were all.
okay.
I mean, they banged them. They shot
Into the car.
shot. When they were in the car, they
I
didn't get a
gotcha.
chance to even get out of the car
Okay.
because they saw them pull up and they were waiting for them, like rushed them right away. So I think Robin Miller, who was 15, the girlfriend of Bruce Johnston Jr., crawled her way out a little bit. She was shot in the head. So I think once she made it into the house, Bruce Johnston lifted her up, put her on the bed, and then he was like slowly going in and out on the floor. And then I think he somehow got up and was able to call authorities. And yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, I just don't understand how many shots you can take and wow.
and survive it.
Yeah.
Well, they survived.
Yes.
And not only did they survive, but other members of the gang ended up jumping in to dime out. And it was the 4 that I had mentioned. So right after these murders in 1979, for that, the tractor thefts, Bruce Johnston Sr. and his 2 cousins, they were all found guilty of stealing the great tractor theft, Charlie Brown, from Ephrata. They were sentenced to 4 to 9 years for the thefts. And then while they were in prison a couple of years later, they were dimed out by the remaining members of that gang, whom he tried to kill them. Like he basically tried to kill all of these people and just, it didn't happen or they got away or something. But again, they just dropped it.
His son included, yeah.
Correct. And then ultimately, this guy, Bruce Johnston, was convicted of the murders of Gary Crouch, James Johnston, James Sampson, Robin Miller, Wayne Sampson, and Dwayne Lincoln, and for the attempted murder of his own son, Bruce Jr. And he was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences. 6.
That's crazy. And we didn't really touch on what made the son testified against him, right?
Do you mean the fact that his own father tried to have him killed?
Oh, we
But-
didn't talk
but-
about
but-
the rape.
But the rape, that was actually,
Okay. So that's all right. I mean, that was, for sure that's in the movie. I didn't,
No, that
I
was
just, I,
real
didn't-
life.
I just didn't read about that elsewhere.
No, it definitely, because today listening to that was the actual FBI. That really, really happened.
Okay.
Yeah, with the rape.
Well, bring it back.
The alleged. Well,
Let's get rapey.
that was her testimony. That her testimony to Bruce Jr.
Bruce
in
Jr.
jail that actually made him then flip on the dad.
Gotcha.
And they were saying that they did, a couple of the other people with the tractor theft got out a little bit earlier from jail, and it was Johnston Jr. that was sitting in there for a while. And I guess because of the dad knew somebody was like, leave him in.
Just
I don't
make
want him out.
sit, yeah.
Yeah, and she wanted to go see him, his girlfriend, Robin, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the dad, Bruce Johnston Sr., and one of the gang members said, okay, yeah, we'll take you there for the day. And I think it was quite a little bit of a drive away. So they were like, hey, you're a big girl now. Even though the girl was 15, he was 19.
Correct.
Yeah. And they were like, you're a big girl here, drink this, be a big kid and this and that. So she got drunk, and the dad, Bruce Johnston Sr., took her to this motel and threatened her, said, leave my kid alone. You're done with him. It's over. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to listen to this shit, whatever. And I think she passed out. And then when she woke up, she was naked and
in the hotel room.
And I think he raped her, or they both raped her. I don't know exactly what, but
Who was the other one that would have raped her?
It was another gang member. I'm not quite sure who it was. It maybe been whoever his close associate was.
Right.
Nice.
In the movie, it was George McFly, the guy that they depicted in the movie.
Crispin Glover.
But, yeah. But
we'll talk about him later in the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of big name actors in there.
We'll get there, damn it.
Yeah. But the actual, that's the thing with the movie. Like reading up on this and hearing a couple, coverage of this earlier today. The movie's
Very close.
Very close, pretty accurate.
Yep.
According to what, they didn't cover, obviously they can only do it in 2 hours. So there was a lot of these crimes, obviously, that were left out that they kind of started, I guess, when they were near the end of their career. But, for your son to, like, turn on you like that, it's got to be something bad.
Well, she went crying to witness, see him in jail and told him the story. And he was like, are you? And then that's when he started ratting.
So while the son was to bring this all together, while the son was in jail, his dad got rapey with his girlfriend. She told the son.
And then the son right away said, you know what?
Got it.
Fuck my dad. Like, this shit's done. And he started just ratting everybody out. We did this. We did this. We did this. You can go find this here. This happened here. And they were like,
Dad,
oh,
you
shit.
can go to hell.
Yes.
HE double hockey sticks.
Yep.
That means hell.
But yeah, all this in Pennsylvania. That was, and I wasn't aware of any of this. I remember the movie, but I didn't really know what it was about, and I didn't know about all these stealing tractors and all that. And they were saying about how a lot of these tractors, you don't have to register them or anything. So these farmers and people are using them. Those mushroom farmers and stuff, they would buy these tractors, and they had bulldozers. They had all kinds of equipment.
Sure.
And none of the stuff's registered. But these people obviously are buying it. They know it's hot.
But
know what I mean? You got to know with
there's
the prices and stuff.
A true crime podcast that actually takes you on some of the roads. And did you see that one? I think it was on YouTube. And the guy is showing, like, where the one where Robin and Junior were shot. And he went to these other sections. He went to the graveyard where, Robin was buried. He went to the police station where the murder happened, which I think has been bulldozed. But he takes you for like a tour around these, and it's still very, very rural. You can't, not many people around. What?
Yeah, I'm just looking at you as you're doing this. Like, you can't. No, there's not many people around.
No, there's not.
I just
it's like cows.
I just
horses,
thought it was good. It made me smile.
And poop smell.
So there, the bright side. Bruce was in Graterford Prison, Pennsylvania, until he died of liver cancer at the age of 63 in 2002.
A little side story on that. When Bruce Sr. was in Pittsburgh at one point, out near Pittsburgh in a prison out there, and he had murdered one of his cellmates there that stole his television out of his cell.
How did he get a television in cell?
He had a television in his
some of
them,
or
in the
whatever
prison
kind
cell.
of prison. Some of them are different. If you have money,
you can buy. So he had a television. Anything. One of the cellmates stole the television. He found out about it. Here, you think having a television? Somehow he got some kind of, I don't know if it was a flammable liquid, doused it on the guy and lit him on fire. The guy died.
That's awesome.
So they were trying to get.
How much of the?
That's baller.
Hey man, hey,
that's awesome.
Hey, officer guy, here's $100 for some kerosene.
So here's the thing,
man. I got you, man.
Like Zach was saying, he was already He was already doing for 6 murders, right?
6 consecutive life sentences.
But at that time, for those 6 murders, there was no death penalty. When he committed this 7th murder, there was a death penalty. So they took him to court for this, trying to get the death penalty, and they brought back all these other
the witnesses for a second trial,
and that brought that into this trial. The jury found him not guilty of the 7th murder.
Wow!
They said it was, I don't know, self-defense, but they couldn't. They're like, well, we can't take the word of, because he was on death row there, or with death row inmates, and they were testifying against him and other things. They were like, the jury couldn't. So he got off of that. So he ended up, like he said, he died of natural causes, but he had what would you say, liver cancer?
Liver cancer.
Yeah.
That means he was a drinker.
Yeah.
So it's we were talking about transporting cigarettes across state lines. At what point did somebody think it was a good idea to cease allowing smoking in prisons? Like, I don't think they can smoke in prison anymore.
Oh, for real?
And I'm thinking about that. And I'm thinking, when you implement a policy like that, and you got 100 or so dudes that are now all going on like Nick fits,
right?
Like, you're going to have a riot.
The violence and stuff. Yeah,
you can get anything in prison.
I know you can get
heroin,
right?
You can get las drogas. You can get kerosene.
Did you say pear wine?
Yeah, they make wine out of spit. Dude, these guys, man.
They make wine out of spit.
It's ingenuity in prison, I'm telling you.
Is that legal?
They do pruno. They make some pruno in the back of the toilet.
Boilo? Are you trying to say
Pruno.
What's pruno?
It's like they take, like, if they have prunes or whatever, some sort of fruits that they get when they eat, they keep it in their mouth like a chipmunk.
Okay.
And they let it in there. When they get back to the room, and spit it out. It's like these little cans.
How in the name of all that is holy
they let
do
the
you
shit
know
ferment.
anything about this?
I research prison, man.
He
What?
just knows.
That's wild as hell.
Yeah.
I like to talk about those times, man.
Please. Jesus Christ.
No, yeah, there's a lot of shit they do in prison.
Would you ever see that guy? He's like he shows you recipes to make in prison. Like
You make like grilled cheese with,
Just
with
out of,
irons.
like-
It's they think they call it a chi-chi.
okay.
Yeah, your chi-chi, I mean, you can look this up. That's the John right there. Like, if you can make a good chi-chi
In prison?
in prison, you are a lot of people's friend. Like, that's liquid gold.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not recommending prison to anybody.
No, but just saying how they.
But once you're in there, man, the black market in there is awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm saying you can get anything you want in prison, technically.
except the woman
You can get those too.
And the power.
and the power.
But again, why would it be a good idea to stop allowing cigarettes? Again, smoking cigarettes. They might, of course, you can do whatever. Like, and if it's out of somebody's eyes,
You're out
that's
in the
fine.
yard or back behind the
But
the greenhouse.
or sneaking it or doing whatever. But
Yeah,
why? Why would that be a good idea?
smoking in the boys' room.
I don't know. I just think of hundreds of dudes that are all smokers that are all of a sudden told, "Hey, man, you can't smoke anymore." Like, fuck, riots. I
Yeah.
just think riots.
You think it would calm them? You know what I mean? And it would be less.
Yeah.
like, less.
The
maybe
Dauphin
less
County
aggressive.
riot of 24. It's like due to lack of nicotine.
Great smoke.
Are they
out.
allowed like pouches? Like, do they give them chewing tobacco?
No idea. So okay, maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Or
there's
maybe
a
like a
nicotine
smokeless-
substitute.
yes,
a
a
smokeless
smokeless
A patch.
tobacco.
A patch or something like that. Yeah.
Patches.
that we're paying for.
Right.
P.S. that we're paying for.
That's true.
Well,
Well, you said it's going to cause a riot, so maybe they're thinking ahead.
maybe, or though maybe that's actually the point. Maybe they want them to riot. Maybe they want them to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Like
True.
I have attempted quitting maybe a handful of times, and I know that by X day,
You're doing a great job.
I get real punchy. I said I have attempted
okay.
and failed,
Right.
but needless to say, after a couple of days, man, I'm getting real punchy. Like I'm really, really, really on edge.
Get on edge. Yeah.
So you have to with these guys. I mean, they let them beat the shit out of each other.
Right. Yeah, I didn't realize they were outlawed. That they weren't. They weren't allowed. to
Yeah,
have
there's
cigarettes.
no smoking in prisons anymore. Again, I
Many
get it.
prisons are looking for a new, what are they called? What are those called?
Warden,
Head wardens.
just
Zap,
warden.
yes, just call Zap.
Yeah, man.
Right.
I will reinstitute smoking.
Smoking. Yeah.
In 3 weeks, the whole prison be dead.
I'm for it. I will reduce the tax burden by allowing smoking again.
Yeah, no, you would give it to them for a week. Say, here, everybody, enjoy, and just like be tossing them out in the yard.
Yeah.
And then just take it all away.
Take it all away.
Get 'em hooked on
people,
it.
Yeah, after people are 2 packs deep. What?
2-pack Shakur.
Yeah.
Be like, what? Smoking this week? No.
Could you imagine?
That would be nuts.
Oh, wow. Well, so goes the life and times of Bruce Alfred Johnston Sr.
Yeah, and I think the Bruce Jr. is locked up in Lancaster County.
Green, Pennsylvania.
Is that where it is?
Is he?
For drug charges. And
Drug
stuff like
house.
that. Yeah.
The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree there.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
That was as of a few years ago, so I
Mm.
don't know if he's still in or
They said Norman Johnston, who was part of the gang, was featured on America's Most Wanted on August 15th, 1999.
for.
Did he escape or
Was
something?
he escaping?
Yes.
Oh wow.
From a place in Pittsburgh, I believe he was in.
Mm.
I guess they caught him again.
Yes.
Good.
No, that was a crazy. That was
Everything's crazy, Dave.
crazy.
It's all
It is
crazy.
crazy.
It's
It's
a
crazy.
slow burn, man.
slow burn. That was a compelling story for sure.
I feel compelled.
Yeah.
It says here also something I've read. It says 3 of the Kitty Gang, which is the little junior gang, murder victims Wayne Sampson, 20, Dwayne Lincoln, 17, and James Johnston had disappeared in August, where they were shot and buried along the infamous Devil Road Cult House Road. And that's like a place that people.
What did I say? Yeah, hauntings. and
Yes,
stuff.
people go visit hauntings and stuff there. And that's in Pennsbury Township, Pennsylvania.
Mm.
This road is also the location where the film Village
The Village with
was shot. Yes.
M. Night Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan.
I have
Yeah.
not seen it, although I am interested in the new one coming out.
Yeah, that
The
looks
cabin.
Something about the cabin.
good. Where
Yeah.
the people are all like blindfolded.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be like the end of the world. They got to kill one of them. Looks interesting.
Sorry about that.
I'm interested.
Yeah, it looks good.
I feel compelled.
So, yeah, I guess you guys got any other tidbits or anything we missed?
I got nothing more on this guy.
The movie At Close Range was based roughly on the thefts and murders leading up to this in 1978. Christopher Walken plays Brad Whitewood Sr.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be Bruce Johnston Sr.
Right.
Sean Penn plays his son, Brad Whitewood Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And who is the girlfriend? Mary Stuart Masterson
Yeah.
plays Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I think we'll be talking about that.
That'll be coming up this on the Vintage Cinema review.
Yeah, tune into that one.
Right. That'll be paired with this. So find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Old Dirty Basement and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to the Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.